All right. Hey, Cake Family. Tiffany here, and I have Michaela with me, and
Hi.
she is excited to share her story about her journey becoming a self-employed bookkeeper. So, Michaela, would you mind introducing yourself and telling everybody a little bit about your family and your background?
Yeah, so my name's Michaela. I found Tiffany's program almost a year ago. It's actually almost to the date. I saw a screenshot that I took of your ad, and it was like August 16th or something. So
Oh, that's
we're
funny.
coming up on our anniversary.
Yay.
But I saw your ad, and it just, it piqued my interest. I had been looking for, a change in career. I was working as a dental assistant, but it just wasn't something that I was passionate about. And I wanted to find something where I had more flexibility and more opportunity for growth, because in terms of pay and professional development, there wasn't much for me to do with the dental assisting. So it just piqued my interest, and it sounded like something that I would enjoy. And I purchased your program a few weeks after I bought the book and kind of read what it was about, and I just kind of dove in from there. I did, my pro advisor training and started marketing, and, I grew really quickly. And I was able to get a job with QuickBooks Live, which was very exciting. And it,
That is exciting.
that's given me so much opportunity to get, more experience with other businesses and things like that. So it's been a roller coaster, but it's been great, and I've loved every minute of it.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. So, when you were working as a dental assistant, had you had any previous exposure to bookkeeping or accounting or anything like that?
Nope. I was, I've always loved organization. I've had a knack for it. I like numbers, and math and things like that. So that's kind of what drew me in, was that aspect of it. But I didn't
Hmm.
have any professional bookkeeping experience, other than, my own budget and things like that. So I was a complete newbie. So it was overwhelming, but I'm definitely someone who likes to, learn in a hands-on experience. And so I felt like it was a really good fit for me, because I kind of just got to, like I said, just dive right in and just, gain the experience through the course and through, my own studies. And then, with clients that I had, you always come across something you've never seen before, regardless of whether you're an accountant and you've been in school, or start out like we do, and, in your course, you always come across things you don't know. So it's definitely a field where you're always learning on the job regardless. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's definitely true.
Mhm.
So, do you remember if you first saw the ad like mid-August, what was your timeline from when maybe you started to go through the course,
Mhm.
and then once you launched your business, and then once you got that first client?
Yeah, so I bought the course, I think it was like the very end of August. And so I started marketing maybe like at the end of October. And I was just in, different Facebook groups. I joined all kinds of business Facebook groups. I was, making posts, letting people know that I was there to help. At the time, we had that Halon offer. And so that was, kind of where I was getting people who needed tax prep and things like that, because the end of the year was approaching. And by the end of November, I had already gotten my first client. She was a new business, and so she needed help getting everything set up. So she was, great. It was nice to start with somebody who was like a clean slate, and I just got her set up the right way from the beginning. I caught her up through the end of the year, and then she did sign on to become a monthly client for me. So she was kind of the starting point for all of it. And then it just kind of grew slowly from there. I got another client, I think it was in February. She was a smaller client, which she does quarterly pricing for her. And then in the midst of a pandemic, I found, this client. They reached out to me on Thumbtack, and they are a $3 million business, and they do, they have all kinds of revenue streams. They needed, a wide variety of services. And so that client actually brings in about $3,250 a month for me. So that was like the turning point where I was like, this is legit, and I can like make, a living off of this. And you can do
Yeah.
it pretty easily, as long as you, have confidence, and you know that you bring value to people. They don't know how to do this, or they don't have the time to do it. And you have to think about the value that you bring to them, not just about, what you think that your services are worth. It has to be the value that you bring as an asset to somebody else's business, because you are an asset, and you provide value beyond just bookkeeping.
Yes, absolutely. And just being a part of the group, part of the course, part of this program makes you an asset as well, because
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be all just what you know in your head. It can be a collection of what everybody that's helping you knows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
So,
definitely think like being part of the support group, because I joined right away, um, because I knew that I was going to have questions as I was just learning things, even if I didn't have clients. And that, that was just the most valuable part of your program, but, you know, far and away, because even if you don't have clients, you're all, you know, everyone's posting questions and you learn about situations. I think somebody else talked about this in their live. Like, you may not have that situation, you know, in your practice right now, but, you know, it could help you farther along. You may have a client 3 months from now and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I totally know about X, Y, and Z because somebody else had that problem and I was there for that conversation. And you retain so much knowledge that, you know, you feel much more prepared just being in that group and knowing that you have that place to go to for help. And then, you know, like I said, just being there and just absorbing all the information that other people are learning as they go.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So I was so excited when you got this client, your
Yes.
$3,200 client, because like one of my main mottos of the business is that you can make a $40,000 annual wage working
Mm-hmm.
10 hours a week, and that's
Yes.
basically what this client
Yes.
is for you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, and you know, people, I think I see, you know, posts of people who are coming on to the free group here and they're concerned we're in a pandemic. They think that businesses are struggling, they're closing, and they're concerned that there's not a need for bookkeepers. But, you know, you say it all the time, there will always be a need for bookkeepers. It's a requirement. People have to know what their numbers are. They have to report it on their taxes, but we're even more valuable in a time like this because people they need loans and they need, you know, all these resources that are available for small businesses now, but they can't get that without up-to-date reporting and numbers. And so, you know, I've seen just among our group, I've seen a huge boom in, you know, people's businesses because all of these people are out there and they need these resources and they're looking for us to help them so that they can get them.
Yes, absolutely. As soon as the pandemic kind of hit, and then there was all this talk about the PPP loans and the
Yes.
EIDL, our support group just exploded with questions.
Sure
So,
did.
yeah, I mean, people were reaching out to everybody, and everyone's
Hmm.
client base was just growing like
Yeah.
crazy. And
Hmm.
that was such a good feeling to see everybody, instead of struggling financially, everyone
Right.
in the group was starting to
Thriving.
really thrive. Yeah, it was
Hmm.
very awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome. So tell me a little bit more about your total clients. How many do you have now, and about what are you bringing in, type of thing, compared
Yeah.
to maybe what you were bringing in with the dental assistant?
So I'm still at just those 3 clients that I had first. This big one that I got, and like I said, I do a lot for them. I do the owner's personal bookkeeping and payables. I do, you know, the bookkeeping for the business, payables, like some accounts receivable. I mean, it's a lot of work. So there's been a transition period with them. So I've cut back on my marketing for now. But once we get into a really good workflow, you know, with them and the people that I work with on their team, then I'll definitely be marketing and getting a few more clients and probably hiring somebody on. So that's exciting that I'm like already at a point where I'm going to hire some like a full-time employee, which is just crazy to me, but I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I was making gosh, I don't know, under $2,000 a month with my dental assisting job. And I'm in California and I was making, you know, a decent wage for our area. It was not, you know, minimum wage. It was more than that. But, you know, with my bookkeeping, now I'm bringing in almost $3,500 a month. Plus I have QuickBooks Live, you know, and all this experience enabled me to go out and get a bookkeeping job, which, you know, a lot of our group members are just, you know, going the self-employed route. And so, you know, I feel like I kind of did something a little bit different, but it still gives me flexibility. And like I said, I get to gain more experience. And then I know that I kind of have that until I'm ready to just go 100% into self-employment. And so total with, you know, my new QuickBooks job and with the business, I'm bringing in about almost $6,000 a month. So I've over
That's amazing.
tripled my income. Yeah,
Wow,
it's been fantastic.
that is so amazing. Yeah, and one of the things that I have mentioned in the course is that the opportunities that you have even as working as a
Right.
bookkeeper,
Hmm.
obviously the pay isn't as good as being
Hmm.
self-employed, but
Right.
it can give you some great experience and still offer that work
Yeah.
from home
Yeah.
if you're not ready necessarily to be completely
Hmm.
self-employed. But
Right.
tell me a little bit about that process, like interviewing, hiring, what that
Yeah.
was like, because I'm pretty sure they have some pretty strict requirements about it. So did you meet all of those, or did they kind of waive some of those for you?
The biggest requirement that they have is that they want you to be certified as a pro advisor. So everyone, you have to have that completed, which I did. And then, you know, at the time when I interviewed, this was back in, you know, January. So I still only had that one small client. But, I just kind of talked about how I had experience with budgeting. It is a customer service heavy position because you're interfacing with these clients, you're on video with them, you're talking to them, while you work on their books. And so that customer aspect was really important, and I had a lot of experience with that, so I think that really helped me out. But I wasn't, they weren't looking for somebody with an accounting degree. You didn't need to be a CPA. They were looking for somebody who had good customer service skills, communication skills, because you have to talk to these clients and be able to explain things in terms that they understand. And then you have a great team behind you, so if there's anything that comes about in the bookkeeping that you're not sure of, you have hundreds of people who can help you out. So you never feel alone. And I really liked that aspect of it. It was almost like our support group, but kind of on a bigger scale. I just knew
Great.
that if I came across something that I wasn't familiar with, there was somebody, who had my back and could answer and help me understand.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, can you tell me kind of what some of your plans are for maybe the next 3 to 6 months for your business?
Yes. So definitely looking to grow my business. I am actually I've used it and kind of not turned my life around, but made some great improvements in my personal life. When I bought your course, my significant other and I had split up. We had been together for 7 years and had 2 kids. So that was like this major life change, that came about. And it was like just perfect timing because I was able to, grow this business. And now I know that I can be financially independent and I can take care of myself. And so, I bought a car. I know I told you about that a few months ago. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
just aside from the fact of being able to buy a new car, it was like my car was like on its last leg. And for, the last year or so, I'm like, I was like, what am I going to do when this car breaks down? How am I going to afford a new car? And then, I had this life change. And I'm like, one day I just said, I was like, I'm just going to buy a new car right now. Why am I going to wait for something to happen? But just having um, that sense of
Ability. Yeah.
just the ability to be like, I'm not going to wait until I'm in this position where I'm stuck. I'm just going to take care of it now. And just having that financial freedom was like a huge weight off of my chest, and it was a fantastic feeling. So that was awesome. And then just hoping to I'm living with my mom now, so I'm going to be able to get my own place and have a place for me and my girls, so that's awesome.
That's
And then
fantastic.
yeah, just keep growing my business from there, and who knows what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
Mhm.
greatest thing. Could
Yeah.
be anything, whatever you want
Right.
to be next.
Yes, exactly. I want to make more money. You just go out and get another client.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
there's no stopping to it. And what's great
Hmm.
too is when you do start building that team and you get more clients, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean more work for you.
Hmm.
So that's what's really even more cool about being, the CEO of your
Right.
business. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
super
absolutely.
cool. So tell us a little bit about your kiddos. How old are they? Are they
So
homeschooled?
my youngest is going to be 2, and my oldest is turning 5 in a little bit, Charlotte and Olivia.
Awesome.
And Charlotte was supposed to be starting TK, like a transitional kindergarten this year, but with the
Okay.
pandemic and everything, we have decided that we're going to keep her home. Our schools are virtual right now, but at any point, they could go back to in-person learning. And so we just, made the decision that we want to be more in control of the situation with everything going on right now. And the
Hmm.
job that I have now, QuickBooks Live, and my business gives us the flexibility to do that. And so that was a great opportunity for our family, just for me to be able to work whenever I want and help school her when she needs it is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that everybody's been able to make that decision in these
Hmm.
strange times,
Right, because
Yeah.
if it had been back in October and I was working as a dental assistant, I wouldn't have had that option. I couldn't be like, oh, I'm just going to work half a day, and then the evenings I can teach her. I wouldn't have had that flexibility, and I would have been stuck with the decision of I have to work to make money to support my children, and I can't be home at the same time. And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of parents are facing that right now, and it's a really tough decision, having to
Yeah.
decide what you're comfortable with for your kids, and then but also needing to be able to support them. And so, I'm just so thankful that that your course came into my life when it did, because it's just been a huge blessing, even when it
Yeah.
came to things like pandemics that nobody could have predicted.
Yep. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I mean, it's
Yes.
really been beneficial even in spite of that. So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and Michaela has just, put so much effort into learning all of this stuff and really making this her main priority right now. And she has absorbed so much information so quickly that she even became part of the student mentors and has been helping other people out. I mean, honestly, I was really, really impressed that you got hired at QuickBooks Live, because I talk to the
Thank
people
you.
at Intuit on occasion, and
Hmm.
um, their requirements are pretty stringent, really, to get hired.
Yeah.
So you definitely must have blown them away. So
Well, thank
really proud
you.
of you. Yeah,
I owe it all to your course. It was the springboard for everything. So,
that's
it
awesome.
really does it, even if you don't know, any bookkeeping, you really do a good job of going over the basics, and then, in the support group, just providing those resources that you need to learn, different situations and things. It's a really great, learning resource.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So, for all the new people in the group, or maybe some people that have been in the group a while and they're really
Mhm.
starting to consider this now, do you have any advice or tips that you would give them if they're kind of on the fence about it?
Yeah, I mean, it really, you will be able to take this business as far as you're willing, to go, and it all is going to come down to how much work and, effort you're going to put into it. And like Tiffany always says, your business could be as big or as small as you want it to be. If you just want to get those few clients and make a part-time income to help out, in your household, or you want to build the empire and have employees and, take more of that CEO role, I mean, it all is you're going to get what you put into it. And if you know that you can put in the time and dedication, then absolutely, I say jump in and just take that, that chance. Invest in yourself, and just know that we're all here to support you if you have questions along the way. And we're a one big happy family. We really are a cake family.
Yes, yeah, we are. We are. I love it. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to being able to put together a cake retreat. So
Yes.
that is going to be coming up as soon as
I was
they.
hoping we could do QuickBooks Connect this year, but that's not
I
going to
know.
happen.
Nope, nope. I know that's already been canceled, which is
Yes.
such a bummer. Such a bummer.
Yeah.
I love going there. So,
Yes.
but yeah, we'll definitely be all getting together and
Yes.
having a party.
Yeah, for sure.
So. That's awesome. Well, does anybody have any questions for us? Just let us know. I think there's another Michaela asking questions. She wants to know a little bit more about what QuickBooks Live is like.
Yeah, it's been really fantastic. Intuit is an amazing company to work with. They're one of the top Fortune companies to work for, and they have a really great company culture. And you just really feel supported by everyone there. It is a W-2 position, so you're an employee, and the scheduling is really flexible. You can work between 20 and 29 hours as a bookkeeper for them. You have assigned clients, so you work with the same people pretty much, from month to month. And it's a good way to work on not only, the bookkeeping side of it, like I mentioned, but just being comfortable, talking to clients about what's going on in their books and answering the questions that they have. Like, since I've started QuickBooks, because you're on one-way video with them when you have appointments, and so now I'm like, Zoom meeting, sure, let's hop on. And when I first joined your course, I was like, we're going to be on video? I was like, what? I don't want to do that. I don't want people to see me. And you get, I was like, had like huge stage fright. I hated public speaking, and it really just kind of exposes you to a lot of that. And now when I do discovery calls, I only do Zoom meetings if the people will do it, because you get more of that connection, and I think it's easier to convey your value that way. And so it's been really good, to strengthen that aspect of my business.
Yeah, that's a great point to bring up. A
Mhm.
lot of people ask all the time, well, you're up here talking in front of people all the time, and
Mhm.
I can't do that, but you
I
can.
thought the
You
same
really can.
thing. I totally thought, and it's like, I just think back to those first discovery calls that I had with these, potentials that reached out to me, and they were painful, because it's just like, it's terrifying. You feel like you don't know what you're doing, and you feel like you can't communicate your value, or, any of that stuff very well. And so, to anybody who's just starting out and you have all these calls booked and you're like, what am I going to do? Just power through it. Every call gets
Yeah.
better and better. You get used to the flow, and you start to feel more confident and in control when you have these conversations. And it takes practice. I mean, like I said, I had huge public speaking phobia, and now I'm just like, let's go, let's have a talk, let's get on Zoom, let's talk to each other. And you get used to it.
Yep, absolutely. And even with you only having 3 clients worth of
Hmm.
experience, you already feel like you can talk to anybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
it doesn't take much to get to that.
Yeah. And
also,
if
which
and it's okay to not know everything. If they
mhm,
ask you a question, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not sure. Let me check on that for you. Because the truth of the matter is they don't know, these clients, they don't know more than you do. They're coming to you as the expert, and it's all right if you don't know every single thing, because that happens in any industry, in any business or job that you work at. Nobody knows everything. And as long as you can have the resources to go and figure out the answer for them, whether that's from the support group or doing your own research, and you can come back to them and say, hey, here's what I found and this is what I think we should do. That's all that they're looking for. They don't need somebody who knows everything 100% of the time. They just need somebody who's going to be able to guide them to make the right choices and to figure out any problems that they come across.
yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you gave us some great advice, great tips, and
Yeah,
I
thank you.
loved hearing your story.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so excited. I mean, tripling your income, that's so great. Casey
Yes.
also did the same thing. So
Yeah.
you guys are rock stars. I love it.
Yes, thank
So
you.